Let's rewind for a moment. Back to the days when school meant boring classes, endless doodles, and a little brutal robot who made it all worthwhile. Megaman X was more than just a video game for me. It was an escape, an inspiration, and the reason my notebook's margins were filled with battle scenes instead of math notes. This model kit is special because it takes me right back to those days. I spent countless hours playing these games, and every time I see Mega Man, it feels like reconnecting with my childhood best friend. Today, we are bringing that nostalgia to life, one scene line at a time. Alright, let's dive in. Mega Man here comes pretty solid out of the box. You could slap him on a shelf right now, and he will look great. But we're not about to settle for just great, are we? The goal here is to clean up some of the seam lines for a smoother, cleaner look. These little lines are the only thing keeping Mega Man from being perfect. Normally, I will use solvents, but since a lot of this kit is made from ABS plastics, I will stick with CA glue for the most of it. There are pieces that I need to paint first before gluing the armor parts on top of them. And there are places like in the hands that I will need to use a lot of CA glue to use as a filler in order to close a gap that it's on the line. Here I'm using the CA glue with a needle applicator. It just drops the right amount of CA glue so I don't make a mess. And then it's only a matter of closing the part, just as if you were using plastic cement. Here, as you can see, I'm using a lot of glue in the hand, just so that the excess is used as that filler that I talked about before. There are a lot of pieces like these clear pieces that I will need to paint first before I can sandwich the part together again. And talking about these parts, there is a lot of detail on the underneath of it. And I don't think I will glue these parts because when I sand it back again, I can probably destroy some of that detail that it's in there. Here, I'm going to start testing the paints. I already have some of the colors, but I'm trying to use a silver color underneath and a very diluted paint on top. I didn't like that look so much. That's why I use these spoons to test my paint first. After that, another test. This is the very first time I'm doing some pre-shading, and even I was scared about it at the very beginning. I really liked the look that it had at the end. Here I'm applying some chrome to the translucent parts. I like how they look, but something inside me told me if I add some black, it will change. It popped up right back with a lot of contrast. After the gray parts are already painted, I started enclosing them inside the armor, and it's exactly the same process. Some CA glue, sandwich the parts together, and that's it. After that, I'm going to mask the gray parts so I don't paint on top of them. And here we start with the base coat of primer. I'm using white primer because we're using blue, and that's a bright color, and I didn't want to dull it down with gray or black. After the first coat of primer, we fix some errors, prime again, and then we apply some pre-shading. In this case, I'm using purple because not every color can be pre-shaded with black. Purple ended up being a very nice pre-shading color for the blue. I'm very happy with the result at the end. And here for the white parts, I'm using a very diluted clear blue. And for the light blue parts, I also use clear blue, but straight from the bottle, just thinned down, 1-to-1 ratio. And here I start dropping the main color for the armor parts. And the result of how it blends with the purple, oh man, I love that. After it cured some time, we needed some extra masking for extra colors that I needed to paint. And also I had to paint some metallics that I like to do by hand brushing. And after that, everything received a very good coat of clear. The armor parts, they are in a high gloss clear. And the body parts that do not have the armor are in matte. Also, I apply matte to the face, and after that I applied some high gloss to the eyes and that was pretty much it. I love how the pre-shading looks. Also, being a Karobikia kit, the tolerances between the pieces are very tight, so that's why I have to use some sanding sticks to sand some of the paint so I can move the pieces around without having the fear of breaking them. And there he is, Megaman X in all his glory. This kit perfectly captures the essence of the character, from his sleek design to the battle-ready poses. Sure, it's not the most flexible kit, but hey, neither were we after sitting on those school desks all day. Building this wasn't just about the model. It was about reliving those memories of afternoons spent with a controller in hand and a best friend by my side. And honestly, I think this build turned out better than any of those doodles we made in class. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, hit that like button and subscribe. And stick around for the next episode of Nostalgia Build. Who knows what we'll dive into next. Until then, happy building.